right? Grew up in Utah. Maybe she's 18, 19 years old, whatever year, 70s, 80s, whatever. Goes on a date with a guy, right? Normal date, just met him, I think at the supermarket. Goes on a date with this guy. You know, had never, she was only 18, but since this has never done this. She went to a payphone at the restaurant, called her brother, and was like, can you please come pick me up, like, immediately? And stayed in the bathroom until her brother was outside.
Hey fam, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another reaction. This is Segovia coming to you live from the man cave. Happy hump day, y'all. It's Wednesday already. We're in here making some reactions. I'm filming a video for my other channel, so I let the Cave fam say hi to hopefully the new family. Right here we go. Say what's up, Cave fam. Filming the new video and doing a 36-hour fast as we speak. I'm documenting it. I'm gonna start documenting more of my mental illness on my other channel, so if you guys are interested in that, be sure to hit that link in my bio. Go over there. We're going to start doing uploads over there. We're going to start doing reactions to mental health type things, TikTok reactions to mental health, to you know, money issues that cause mental illnesses. We're going to do reactions to all that. Podcast clips of talking about mental health. And also I'll be doing some full days of eating, some grocery hauls, day in the life type things over there. So all my K fam that are watching right here, be sure to go over there and subscribe. Let's get into the reaction. Ooh. That was another Iceland volcano eruption, right? I think it's the third one this year. Third one in 3 months. Might be bubbling up a big one. I don't know. But I just want to let you guys know that was the first sip I ever had of cherry bubbly. I had it here with you guys. Honestly, a little cherry cola, cherry Dr. Pepper type of flavor. I'm going to say it right here. I'm going to say it. This is the best sparkling water, and I've had them all, that I think I've had. This cherry one. Back into the reaction.
How the screen that they talk to the aliens in, and also her house with the big window overlooking the lake is mirrored.
Like in the match cuts?
Kind of. So there's a couple shots of going into the spaceship where it pans down for the textured roof,
right, and
it's just lit by that glow. And later in the movie, after she gets like the
Same
full
shot.
same shot, it pans off the roof with the glow, and then it's her big lake window.
Even her light fixtures are the shape of the
really?
of the ship.
Published in Nature magazine, evidence for human presence in North America 130,000 years ago. Now, this has really put the cat amongst the pigeons. Now, if humans were present in North America 130,000 years ago, and archaeologists have been telling us for 50 years that they were only present from 13,000 years ago, that's 10 times as long that we've had humans in North America capable of doing stuff, and the archaeological dogma has prevented any search for what they were doing.
What was the evidence from 130,000 years ago?
The evidence that we find is evidence for human presence. And what they were doing was very much Stone Age stuff. It's a mastodon. It's a mastodon skeleton that was excavated. It was actually found by accident during road construction near San Diego. And an archaeologist was attached to the road construction crew and immediately stopped construction. And they investigated it thoroughly. And what they found was so much dynamite in the early 1990s when they found it that they decided not to publish at the time. Because what they found was evidence that those mastodon bones had been cracked open by human beings using tools, and that the marrow had been extracted.
One of the worst things that you can do to
found was evidence that those mastodon bones had been cracked open by human beings using tools, and that the marrow had been extracted.
Isn't that crazy? Now, we've always believed it was 13,000 years. Now they're saying 130, 150,000 years. I myself think we walked the earth with dinosaurs, right? I think we've just been going through a cycle, and it's going to continue to happen. This civilization gets wiped out. Only a few survivors. Got to start from the Stone Age. And it's just a constant cycle, y'all. That's what I think. But that's pretty cool. We've been around in the Americas for 130,000 years. Pretty crazy. Keeps getting older and older. Next thing we know, it's going to be 1,000,000 years ago.
One of the worst things that you can do to somebody that has anxiety is try to reason them out of an anxiety attack, right? By telling them there's no reason for them to feel this way. There's nothing for them to be afraid of. Why do they choose to feel like this? Why do they choose to have this kind of attitude? Nothing like that will be effective. It will really upset them. It's almost like you're downplaying that very visceral fear that they have. When someone is afraid of heights and they're standing at the edge of a 30th floor balcony, all the reasoning in the world about how safe that balcony is or how strong the handrail is not going to work. And it's no different than trying to reason somebody out of having an anxiety attack. Very often we're talking about a category of neurotransmitters called catecholamines. And these neurotransmitters are involved in the fight or flight response: dopamine, epinephrine, norepinephrine. We also call them adrenaline. You probably know them as adrenaline. But can it be released in a scenario where there's no presence of a fear? And the answer for that is yes. So if you have this gene mutation, MTHFR, then there's a lot of clinical evidence that supplementing with something called methylfolate, specifically 5-methylfolate, and another amino acid called SAMe, S-adenosylmethionine, can be very, very effective at treating anxiety and even effective at treating depression.
Now, I try to do that, right? I try to Google good supplements, best diet, for whatever, for depression, for anxiety, best vitamins for anxiety, right? Those are things I try to do. I try to research with what's wrong with me. And that's how I found the keto diet. So, yeah, there's a lot of power on the internet, a lot of knowledge on there that, if you're going through a hard time, simple Google best foods to eat, dealing with anxiety. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to tell you, it's going to say low carb diets. That's just what I've learned from my research.
I wanted to ask you about the Oscars.
Well, Oscar, one day when you got some time, look up one of the brilliant minds that ever lived. Oscar Michelle. The one night, it's the biggest television audience in the world. It's the Oscars. Where do you think that name came from?
Oscar Michelle. Oscar didn't care about Hollywood or racist American laws. He broke all the rules. Every evening, Oscar would write his hardships into stories. His stories became so popular that his novel, The Homesteader, garnered the attention of a Los Angeles film company. They negotiated a deal with Oscar to adapt the book into a movie. When the film company refused to allow Oscar to be a part of the production, Oscar changed his mind. He decided to produce the film himself. With no previous experience, Oscar Michaud wrote, produced, and directed The Homesteader. The Homesteader premiered on February 2nd, 1919 to a packed 8,000-seat theater in Chicago.
Now, I never wondered, who is Oscar? Who is this guy on the Oscar? I never even thought about it until I saw this clip. It's an actual person. That's pretty crazy. Oscar is somebody. The Oscars are the root. There's always a root to something. Everything starts with an origin. That's the Oscar's origin. Who would have thought?
The Emerald Tablets of Thoth, which date back over 36,000 years. The opening scene in the Emerald Tablets, he's told by his father, who's actually Enki, was to go to the land of Cam and help re-kickstart civilization because there was a great flood. So Thoth goes there. He takes a crew with him. Several generations have gone by and the people have become barbaric again. They have lost their technology, their high civilization. So when he opens his door to his ship and his crew walks out with him, these barbarians come to attack him. He raises his staff and he sends out a ray of vibration which actually freezes them. So he has a stun gun or a stun weapon 36,000 years ago. And then he started talking to these people about, I'm here to help you and raise you up to a high level of civilization. So once they did that there and re-kickstarted civilization, he told his crew, spread out around the planet. This is why everything is the same. And when you look into a lot of the space probe data that we have, you can see anomalies in space and on other planets like the moon and Mars that resemble ancient structures that we have in Peru and Egypt. All these similarities can't be coincidence.
You know about the research study with the rats that they drowned? You ever hear this one?
Yeah, they put the hope.
So researchers took a bunch of rats and they drowned them in this tub to see how long they would last just in this water, not able to get out. They lasted, I don't know, it was like 2.5 minutes or something like that before they drowned. And what they did is, knowing that, they took a new group of rats, they put them in the same tub, and knowing that they were going to die on average around 2.5 minutes later, right before that time was up, they would take them out, that second group of rats, and they would nurse them back to health, dry them off. Then what happened is they put that same group of rats that they saved back in the water, and they tracked how long they were able to stay alive.
Guess how long they stayed alive.
Guess how long.
I don't remember exactly.
I don't either.
I'm not kidding you. I think
it
it was like 24 hours.
Yeah.
They tread water for 24 hours because they have hope. Yeah. They think they're like, oh, they're going to come any second.
Imagine if people brought their awareness to the possibility of themselves succeeding or making money or
I think of like the orphan trains, back in the day with the 1900s. With the orphan trains, they were doing a lot of what looked like cloning with children. And if you look back at the 1901 incubators,
Coney Island, I remember this now.
Island,
yep,
they had this stuff on where they had the incubators, and they were showing all these children, and they said they were all premature, which was interesting. Every single child was premature, but they had just thousands and thousands of these children. So, you sit there and wonder, well, where were all these babies being born from? Where were they coming from? And then you kind of sit there and think back, well, 1901, they could have been cloning. And then now they're saying, we can maybe finally do it. But this technology's been around for a very long time.
I never even thought about that. And we had covered, it was one of those nights that I did a strange Did You Know section. And we were talking about all the incubator babies from Coney Island. They were pretty much on display. Like they were put in street level windows. It was almost like going to a puppy mill. It was incredible. And never once did cloning ever cross my mind until right now.
God, if they were cloning back in 1901, you got to think all these celebrities, athletes. I mean, wouldn't it be smart? NFL for entertainment purposes only? Wouldn't it be smart to put the clones as the athletes? I don't know. This is just the conspiracy mind thinking. It'd be smart to make the actors the clones, right? I mean, if they're doing it in 1901, who knows what they're able to do now?
This is the reason why the genius scientist Nikola Tesla was so obsessed with the number 369. He once said, "If you understand the wonder of the number 369, you will decipher the universe." To comprehend this, we need to acknowledge that humans did not invent mathematics. Rather, we discovered it as the governing law of the cosmos. It is the language of the universe. Below are the discoveries Tesla made. If you take 1 and double it, it becomes 2. 2 doubled is 4. 4 doubled is 8. 8 doubled is 16. The sum of 16 is 7. Double 7 is 14. The sum of 14 is 5. Double 5 is 10, and the sum of 10 is 1. And this pattern repeats infinitely without the occurrence of the number 369. Interestingly, when you double 3, it becomes 6, and when you double 6, it becomes 12. The sum of 12 is 3. These two numbers complement each other, with the number 9 being the highest independent entity. If 3 and 6 are considered negative and positive, then 9 is the superior entity governing the entire universe. Tesla stated that these three numbers exist in a higher dimensional space, dominating the three-dimensional world we inhabit.
Pyramids were some type of a power plant. Yes, not all the pyramids, some of them. So the Great Pyramid at Giza, for sure, a wireless power plant. It was also a communications device. So if you look at old images or old pictures of the Great Pyramid area at Giza, you'll see that the Nile used to run right up alongside of those pyramids. The water would run underneath in these gigantic aquifers. When you have running water underneath magnetized crystal granite, which is what the base is made out of, you create something called physiostatic electricity. Then those ions rush up into Grand Gallery area, and there were these resonating rods going up the Grand Gallery to the King's Chamber. When they got into the King's Chamber, it's surrounded by thousands of tons of magnetized crystal granite. Then the energy would shoot up through the apex. The obelisk captured the ambient electricity from the pyramid, and by that method, they were able to transmit the wireless energy all around the region, and they can power whatever they wanted.
I just think it's super weird that a day after the House votes to ban TikTok, that the former Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin, comes out on the news and says, hey, I want to get a group together to buy TikTok.
Now you gotta realize I'm not too worried because I do TikTok videos, right? You would think I'd be like, oh, the world's gonna end. But the second TikTok gets banned, if it does, there's gonna be a new TikTok. It's gonna be called Talk Tick or something, right? It's gonna be right there, like that. It's gonna be there. So I'm not too worried about it. But I believe you can get these videos on Facebook, Instagram. I think. Let me know down below if you can. I'm not computer savvy, so let me know.
You know that the Congo jungle is 500 million acres, nearly half the size of the United States of pure jungle. That there are spots in the Congo where no European has ever stepped foot. You understand me? Let alone African. There are tribes that are in the Congo that have never heard of the United States, never heard of Russia, never heard of the Holy Bible, and their day goes perfectly normal every day. Pure paradise. Study the Congo, study its people. You will find out the meaning of life.
Now, what's really mind-shocking, mind-boggling is there's still people on this earth living as hunter-gatherers, right? And don't even know of a TikTok, that don't even know of a cell phone, that don't even know what their country is named, right? That not us, that the Europeans gave them the Congo or whatever they call that, South America or whatever. They still call it what their ancestors called it, right? So there's still people living that life, and they are probably disease free. They are probably the happiest people, most peaceful people on earth. No mental health problems over there. None of that. None of that.
Jungle there. So we were in Colombia and Amazon, and like talk about untouched by people. There's been this kind of ongoing conflict in Colombia for many, many years. So we were the first Westerners to go there in over 60 years. So the village we flew into, they'd literally never seen white people before. And then we went 200 kilometers from that. So like middle of nowhere.
Did they want to touch you?
Yeah, hair. Because their hair was very dark and very different. And like, I'm not particularly fair, but just to touch like the hair and see the blue eyes and stuff, they were just loving it.
Friendly?
Super friendly. Like, the culture was very stoic. Like, there wasn't a lot of smiling or crying. There wasn't like a lot of emotional exchange. But straight away they came and greeted us, like shook hands, said hello. It was really cool.
Wow, that's gotta be. Now, how do you set something like that up? Do you have like a liaison that like acts as a go-between between you and the tribes?
Yeah, so we did in this case have one guy who communicated. I speak Spanglish, I guess.
Now I saw something interesting that really makes sense, that there is a new language that's been created where you can pretty much go anywhere on this earth that has these, right? You can't go to the Congo or anything and do it, but anywhere that has these, right? Cell phones. And you can communicate no matter what language they speak through emojis, right? We all know what the emoji, you can go in, I don't speak Spanish, I'm Mexican, but I don't speak Spanish. I can go in the middle of Mexico, if they have phones, right? Show them a taco emoji and go like this, or just show them this, or, and they'll point me to some food, right? There's places. I mean, you can talk to pretty much anyone. You can go to Italy, you can go to France, talk to people that speak French, and show them some emojis like, where's pizza? They're going to be like, over there. That's pretty cool, y'all. A little universal language that was just created through cell phones.
Literally anybody talking about this, but if you shop at Walmart, you're gonna want to watch this. Basically, Walmart is starting to charge people $100 just to use their self-checkout machines. They're no longer free. So Walmart and Target may be testing these limits on self-checkout machines, and it's happening right now. So Walmart might be making some changes to their self-checkout lanes, only allowing select shoppers access to their cashierless convenience, the self-checkout machines. According to this report from Business Insider, self-checkout might only be usable by Walmart Plus subscribers or Spark delivery drivers. It's $98. It's a subscription. So Walmart Plus costs $12.95 per month or $98 per year and offers free delivery services, gas discounts, and other perks, blah, blah, blah. But now not only is it going to include that, but that's how you're going to use self-checkout. You got to pay. They're saying that this is not a universal shift. Walmart spokesperson Joe Pennington told Business Insider that this change is being implemented at the discretion of store managers. So like I mentioned, this is not officially rolled out at every single Walmart, but it's being picked at like select locations so far. They're also stating that in the morning, self-checkout lanes are more likely to be closed and possibly only open for select populations, like subscription members. I do these daily roundups every day, so make sure you add me so you can come back to me tomorrow.
I mean, it's inevitable, right? Is there going to be 10 cashiers now for people like me that don't have Walmart subscription and don't plan on getting it? Or are they going to force us, if you want to use our places, if you want to come here to shop, you have to get the subscription? Because I've been to Walmarts, not here in Texas, but in Arizona, where it's 100% self-checkout. No more cashiers. It's just a row of self-checkouts. So I've been in those. So that store, you're going to have to get the subscription, or they're going to do some type of fee, like a $5 fee if you want to use this, right? So I don't know. It's inevitable, though. I know in a couple clips, I don't know if it's in today's video or Friday's video, where Chick-fil-A is already having nobody's in there. I don't know if the machines are making it, but there's no cashiers, there's no workers. It's kind of like an ATM. I've seen some ATMs where you use your card to get in the building and then the ATM's in the building. So it's kind of like that. You order online, go in, pick it up, walk out, you already paid for it. That's where we're heading.
Don't know if this was some pre-planned script or whatever. I don't know if the NFL was in on it, but I do believe Satan was in on it, because that was a bad Super Bowl. That was a comedy script. That was probably written by Jerry Seinfeld. Mo, Larry, and Curly played the lead roles. That was not a good football game. Super Bowl 58, Kansas City Chiefs win 25-22 in overtime. It's probably going to set all sorts of ratings records because the Swifties were there and CBS promoted the heck out of it and NFL promoted it all season. But that was not good football. That was a bad game that was decided by a bunch of errors. What's the highlight from that Super Bowl last night?
That.
Probably Travis Kelce shoving Andy Reid. Probably Christian McCaffrey's fumble. Probably that muff punt that turned the game against San Francisco. Probably Kyle Shanahan abandoning his running game. This game was defined by errors, bad TV commercials that he gets us, secular garbage, and Ice Spice in Taylor Swift's suite doing demonic hand gestures and wearing an upside down cross. This was a horrible Super Bowl written by Satan.
Now, the Super Bowl's been, a month ago, right? But that was kind of like all season, Taylor Swift was sitting next to, Kelsey's mom, the brother, family. It was family in the booth, right? But then the Super Bowl, the mom's gone, right? I bet the NFL said, we want Ice Spice. We want you young kids up here drinking, partying. We don't want the family up here, which is sad, right? Because that's probably what happened. Because all season, Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce's mom, family in the booth. Big game. Hey, we family. I'm sorry. We think the world of you, but you guys got to go in the back. We need Taylor Swift and her friends in the front. And that's sad, y'all. That's like, if I was Taylor Swift, I would say, no, this is family, but they don't call their own shots. They follow the rules or you're kicked out, right? It's sad. Even though it was a month ago, sorry, a month ago, old news, but you know, still.
Friend, right? Grew up in Utah. Maybe she's 18, 19 years old, whatever year, 70s, 80s, whatever. Goes on a date with a guy, right? Normal date, just met him, I think at the supermarket. Goes on a date with this guy, and she's at the table with him, and she feels very like a ominous feeling looking at this man. She's like, I'm looking at him, and I can see like there's nothing behind his eyes, like there's just something that I don't like about this guy. So to the point where she has never done this, you know, she was only 18, but since this has never done this, she went to a payphone at the restaurant, called her brother, and was like, can you please come pick me up like immediately? And stayed in the bathroom until her brother was outside, and went in the car and left.
Damn.
And she was like, I'm just creeped out by this guy. I can't explain it. I'm creeped out. All this energy, I'm creeped out. Now, this man had picked her up from her house. So the brother had a paper route. He's leaving the next morning at 5 a.m., sees some ruffling in the bushes, okay? Crazy, right? Like whatever, sees a guy running out of the bushes, says, holy shit, whatever, runs back in the house, tells his mom and dad, sister wakes up, says he was wearing like a beige jacket. She's like, that's the guy I was on a date with. Like that, he was like waiting, he must have been like waiting for me, right? Whatever. Goes on, life goes on, what a psycho, lunatic boyfriend. 3 years later, Ted Bundy on the news. She was on a date with Ted Bundy before he had committed any murders, or he had committed murders but had not been famous for it yet, had not been convicted of it yet. She said when he saw him, she literally almost fell out of her chair because she was like, that look. She said that Ted Bundy, about, you know, how, you know, everyone says he's so handsome, whatever, she said he would get a look over him when he was preying on a victim, which felt she was being preyed on, that she doesn't even look, he's like, he does not look like that. His face configures and contorts to something that looks so sinister that she literally was like, get me away from him now.
That is can you imagine? Like she was probably gonna be a victim, right? But it's something how tuition takes over, and something told her something's not right with it. You gotta go. Like just the vibe, right? Vibes are very strong. And I wonder if everybody feels that, because I know I've had some vibes. You know, I know it's not right. But I have drinking and driving in my lifetime, right? There was only one instance. I had the day off from work. My girlfriend at the time, she was working down the street, right? And I was going to pick her up. But I had some drinks at home, you know, during the day. A lot of drinks, right? A couple Mad Dogs, ND 2020s back in the day. You used to sip on those, right? Old school. I had two of them. You know, anyone that's drinking them, one will put you down, two will put you to sleep. So I had two of them. I woke up, right? I put me to sleep. I woke up because I set my alarm, trying to go pick her up. Something in my soul was telling me, if you go pick her up, something bad's gonna happen. I don't know if you're gonna get pulled over, DUI, you're going to crash into somebody and kill somebody, but something told me, do not drive because something bad will happen. So I listened to it. Big fight came from this. You know, I told her, hey, I can't. I was drinking. I can't pick you up. She got a ride home. Probably had to stay at work an extra hour for her coworker to get out and got a ride home. But I always wondered, like, does everybody feel that? Like, that they've gotten a DUI, or you know, something told them not to drive, but they just done it so much, or they felt that so much, and they were like, I'm gonna do it. Like, I can do it. I've done it all the time. But I don't know. After that, I've drinking and driving. Before that, I've drinking and driving. But that one time, something told me, if you go out there, something bad's gonna happen. So let me know. Have you guys had your tuition talk to you like that before?
No menu boards, no cash register, no dining room. We got an exclusive first look ahead of its March 21st opening.
So here's how it works when the restaurant opens next week. You place your order on the mobile app ahead of time, and then you come into the restaurant, the space just 400 square feet, and you'll come over to this board. You're watching for your name to move from preparing up to ready. When you see your name and ready, you'll come to the front desk and tell the worker your name. Order for Emily.
Welcome to Chick-fil-A, Emily.
He's gonna grab your order for you, hand it off.
This is your order.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And then you're good to go. Chick-fil-A believes this is its fastest concept yet.
This is all about fulfilling the order
and pairing food and drink in a very, very fast and seamless way.
This is when you get to its fastest concept yet.
This is all about fulfilling the order and pairing food and drink in a very, very fast and seamless way.
Okay, so they do have workers there preparing the food. I mean, that's what they're all going to do. They all have been doing, you know, mobile apps giving you discounts. If you use our mobile app, you get a free fry, you get a free drink, you get a free fry with your food. If you use our mobile app, you get discounts using it. So they're getting people to use it. Chick-fil-A is the first one to roll it out. All we're doing is online orders. So you got to think eventually it's all online orders. We're not taking orders no more. No drive. Well, they'll have a drive-through, I'm sure, but it's all going to be mobile orders. And eventually, once they get real good, right, at machines making the food, there goes the workers. Right?
this is when you get to a level of success, when you getting 30, 40, 50,000 a show, you platinum, you running across the world. There's 3 different doors, right? There's 3 different ways to walk. There's to the left, there's to the right, and then there's straight. Straight is you're on your own. Let's see if you continue this success, young man. Okay. Let's see if it's all about your skills, young man. Let's really see that when you went straight. To the right, I'm not sure if that's the homo shit right there. And then there's to the left, I'm not sure if there's some sacrifice shit going on right there. I'm not sure because I went straight. But I was offered these doors.
It's just you were offered some gay shit?
I don't, no. I'm saying that to the right when I seen it, those was those guys over there. You know what I'm saying? Those different people, which I have no problem with. You know, that's y'all. You feel me? And I just chose to go straight, and I haven't been platinum since.
Damn. I mean, he just said it. He just said it. There's this door over here. There's this door over here. But if you want to go from here to here, you got to choose one of these doors. If you go here, you're going to go from here, go a little bit down. You're going to get by, but you're not going to be as celebrity. You're still going to be able to go to the mall, the grocery store, which that sounds better than not being able to, right? But some people want that fame. They want that celebrity status. They fiend for that, what is it? The limelight, right? They fiend for the limelight. I don't know. I don't think I would go straight. I don't want the limelight. I don't want people following me through the mall. I don't like attention. I've never been one for center of attention. I've always played the background. But some people, they get addicted to that attention.
In this video, this lady speaks the truth about Saddam Hussein and how he found ancient Anunnaki artifacts. Make sure you watch until the end and let me know what you think in the comments below.
Do you remember when they told us that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction? And that's why they went in with the Allies and invaded? What if I tell you that the reason was something else? Saddam Hussein had found a lot of Anunnaki artifacts. In fact, he thought that he was the reincarnation of one of the kings in the lineage of the Anunnaki. And he was rebuilding Babylon. He also was building a theme park with the Anunnaki theme. It was this magnificent structure. And it was said that within these artifacts, there was also a Stargate. I was living right near the NATO base. And because I spoke English, whenever I'd go out and there were the guys from NATO and stuff, the soldiers, we'd talk a lot. I came to become friends with a lot of them. And a lot of them, when they drank, said a lot of things that maybe they weren't supposed to. But it was confirmed to me that they were like, we're not going after weapons. We're going after the artifacts. And that always stuck in my mind for years and years to come. Artifacts. At the time, I didn't know what Anunnaki and the Anunnaki Chronicle and history and the scriptures were. So I really didn't understand, nor at the time was I educated enough to believe in what I believe and know now. I never made a video on this because I was like, how can I prove it? You know, with how the Western media does their propaganda and stuff, it's hardly impossible to get the truth out there. But then I found this clip.
I mean, it's not hard to believe that they went to stop him from doing that. I'm not saying that's what they did, but it's not hard to believe. I mean, because look how far they went to stop us from knowing about that. Look at all the extremes they've done, shutting down part of the Grand Canyon, ruining, the past, the American history, ruining it, destroying it, and then creating their own. So it's not a shock that they went to that extent to stop it from getting out, right? I'm not saying that's why. I've heard a lot of soldiers, like I said in my past videos, I've heard a lot of soldiers come back from Iraq saying they seen Saddam do some crazy bad things, even with kids and all that. So I'm not going to sit here and stick up for him, but a lot of people, both American and Iraqis, innocent, died because of all that. So who knows? All right, K-Fam, there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed the reaction. It was a good one. Chick-fil-A, Walmart, looks like they're changing the game, y'all. Looks like we're going from one level to another level in this crazy simulation of a world we're living in. But anyways, y'all, if you made it this far, hit that thumbs up. And anybody new here, hit that subscribe, y'all. We do 4 videos a week. We're going to be going live pretty soon. I know I say it all the time, but yes, we are. And this is Segovia. I'm signing out of the Man Cave. I'm going to see you guys on Friday. Later.